Hi everyone, it's Jacqueline from Homeschool Hangout by Nerd Family. And today we are going to talk about a question that I get fairly frequently recently, which is, how do I talk my kid into letting me homeschool them? If you like these kinds of question-specific, general homeschooling kind of videos, do me a favor, thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Join me over on Homeschool Hangout by Nerd Family's Facebook group. Find me as Nerd Family on Twitter. I'm also Nerd Mom on Twitter. And even if this isn't your specific video, there are lots of different types of videos I do. Please check out my playlist and let's get into it. So something I get asked by new homeschoolers who are withdrawing children from school is, well, how do I even get my kid to let me homeschool them? How do I talk them into it? And my simplest answer, if you said, Jacqueline, answer that in one word or one sentence. No, you don't. Or you're the parent and now the teacher and the principal. These are children. And they don't have the capacity necessarily. Some kids are special, but they don't really have the capacity and shouldn't bear the responsibility of making life-changing decisions at this point. They're going to start being allowed to make some decisions that will affect their life. My 17-year-old is applying for scholarships and applying to colleges, and those are going to be her decisions. But that's at 17, and we've prepared her whole life. The other issue with feeling the need to talk your child into letting you homeschool them, you're giving away your power. And when I say that, please don't think that I walk around my house like an ogre. Depending on the day, the kids may agree with you that I do, but it's still not polite to say it. But in reality, on my day-to-day, I got a kid with me and we're in the grocery store. Oh, why aren't you in school? You're homeschooled. I could never teach my kids. Well, why? I always ask why, because I like hearing why people think they can't do this, because it's not hard. And they go, well, my kid wouldn't respect me enough. They respect their teacher. They don't respect me in that role. Well, you're changing roles and you need them to respect you as the teacher. You need them to respect you as the parent. And we can get into a whole how to develop that respect, how to develop that structure. That's another video for another day. But be careful as you're walking into homeschooling that you don't feel the need to cajole, convince, beg your child to let you do what you think is best for them. It's very different than saying we're going to talk about what's going on in school, and then based on what you say, I'm the parent, am going to make a decision. We do that. But those are very different things, and I think it's also different how you carry yourself walking into that conversation. Here's what your dad and I are thinking about doing. We're thinking about pulling you out of school. What are your thoughts? Because even if you don't do any of the things they want you to do, you will at least know their mindset and where you can address it. So that said, the much kinder part of this video, instead of talking your kid into homeschooling, here are some things you can do to make your child a lot more excited about homeschooling. 1, time schedules. Your child has been in a regular public school. They have to get up, get on the bus, go to school, live their life by a very prescribed schedule, come home and do homework, right? Not my favorite thing, but it's what they've lived with. They might want to do something a little different. And when I say that, I mean, you might have a kid who says, you know what, before I eat breakfast or before I do anything else, I like to get up when the house is quiet and do homework. I like to sleep in and then I'll do my homework afternoon. You guys can make those decisions together. Now, if your kid comes up with something completely wackadoo, like my 17-year-old has to come up with habits of good students, and one of them was like being personally responsible for your health more than your studies even. And she says, I know what I can do. I can study from 10 p.m. at night to midnight and then sleep till 8 in the morning. No, you crazy nutburger, that's not going to work for you, because she won't be able to go to sleep right at midnight, A, and B, no. You can rein in some of that, but you can also offer a similar counter. So my similar counter to her is, why don't you work on your homework from 8 to 10, read from 10 to 11, because let's be honest, the reason she didn't want to start her homework till 10 is because she's going to read for the 2 hours before, and then go to sleep at 11. You can do that. You also can say, when it comes to working on schoolwork, and you're like, you say you don't want to work on schoolwork till 1. I don't know that that's going to work for you, but you can try it. And then if they can't produce the results, you can modify it from there. But give them some freedom on what time of day they do their homework and what that looks like. Do they have to sit at a table and sit properly? Or can they read on the couch? Can they lay on their stomach on the floor and write out their homework? You have that kind of freedom for time and place. So that's one thing. Another thing is your extras. You can choose to either offer them specific choices or a budget and let them research it themselves, depending on their age, of the extras they want to do. Some of those extras are going to be outside the house. And when I say that, I mean my kids have done choir since kindergarten, or they've done science. Well, here are the science classes that are offered. What science class would you like to take? So those are the extras outside the house. Do you want to play soccer? We're part of a homeschool group that does like a month to 6 weeks of sports on a Saturday and then change sports. It's not competitive. We're the nerd family. If you haven't gotten it, sport is not our big focus or talent, but they get some choice in those extracurricular activities. My 8th grader chose to do a civics class that another homeschool couple parents were offering for 8th grade. My sophomore and my senior had to do some sort of government class. So they chose to do the Hillsdale Constitution class to start with. They got some freedom in that. Also, you can let them choose extras, as in, here are the core subjects we need to do. Math, I don't negotiate much with math. I'm kind of an ogre on it. You will do math in my house. We're math nerds. We're the nerd family. We met in the School of Engineering. My husband's a programmer. You do math. But which science class you do, I don't really care. Whether it's taking it with somebody else or even which curriculum we order. Now, you are going to have to look at some of those and give them choices, because some of that is going to be overwhelming for me to just go, oh, they want to take some sort of science class, homeschool science classes. Well, here's 5 billion of them. The other part is their prices are very different. They can start very inexpensively to go very expensive. So you can give them those choices. You can also say, we're going to do some sort of English and literature. And I never really did much of a strict English curriculum until they got in high school. And even now, it's not much. What do you want to read and study about? So do we want to do American literature? Do we want to do Shakespeare? Do we want to do this? Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that you should try to make sure that your kids get exposed to all the classics. But when they do it and how they do it can be very flexible. History, we always started with Story of the World, and I love Story of the World desperately. But something would always get my kids' interest. And as long as they were doing some sort of history, I didn't care. We did, when they were in elementary school, Liberty's Kids, and studied the Constitution stuff and the Revolution and all of that. And they loved it. So offering them those freedoms of what are these subjects that you love within these umbrellas. The joke is, when you're given a bunch of choices, pick 3. Make sure you have, when you go into like build a meal or something in the restaurants, you have to pick a meat, you have to pick a vegetable, you have to pick a carb. Okay, pick a literature book, pick a this, pick a that. And you don't have to have curriculums for any of these things. So it could start in one place and move to another. You also can let your student pick where their heart is and pick some volunteer opportunities. One of the things we have noticed by homeschooling is it frees us up. My kids can go volunteer during the day and they can go do other things. So in our household, things like Operation Christmas Child have been important to my children. Helping at church. All 3 of my children volunteer for Sunday school and are involved in that kind of stuff. We're also a very pro-life family, so we volunteer and go actually stuff envelopes once a month when it's not COVID. So there's lots of different things. The homeless, is that where your child's heart lies? You can call it Catholic Charities, even if you're not Catholic, because my 8th grader has volunteered with a friend and has gone down there for different summers, as has my 15-year-old. And they can help put together food pantry items. You can go down to any local food pantry with them, and you can get into a regular habit of service, and you can let your child lead that a little bit. it will fall on you to help them with the implementation. You can't expect them to do all that by themselves, but you can give them that freedom. You can also let them pick fun days. Do they not want to do school on Monday? Do they like taking Fridays off and that being a park day and playing with their friends? You can give them those freedoms to make the choices, and you can start with that. Here is all the areas we're going to allow you to choose what you do in. Now, depending on your child, you need to exert some wisdom and not overwhelm them with decisions they're not prepared to be able to make and handle. But there are so many things you can offer your child to entice them into being excited about homeschooling. Do me a favor. Let me know your students' biggest challenges and aversions to homeschooling. Let me know down in the comments, and maybe I can even come up with some specialized answers and plans for your student. Let me know, subscribe, comment, all the things, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.